Climate and Community Partnerships Lead at Council here. I'm facilitating this session this evening, assisted by Katie Phipps, who's our Climate and Community Mobilisation Officer. Before we go any further, though, I'd just like to do an acknowledgement of country. So I'd like to acknowledge the Bunurong people of the Kulin Nation as the traditional owners and custodians of this land. We pay our respects to the elders past, present and emerging, as well as any Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander community members with us here today as well. I'm just going to share my screen now. So with us here today, as you can see, there are a couple of other friendly faces. We've got Samira and Anthony from Specialised Solar and Electrical, our installers, and we've got Lloyd from the Yarra Energy Foundation, and they'll both be giving a little presentation as well as a Q&A session a bit later. So this is what this evening's session is going to look like. So a little welcome and introduction from myself. I'm going to hand it over to Lloyd, and he's going to talk on why we should be electrifying everything. At 8:15, we're going to have a Q&A session with Samira and Anthony from Specialised Solar. So we encourage you to place your questions in the Q&A box at the top of your screen, and we'll get to those during that Q&A session. And then we'll have a quick little session summary at the end. So just a little bit of background to the Electrify Everything program. So Council declared a climate emergency in 2019, and since then, Council has adopted a community greenhouse gas emissions reduction target of 75% below 2005 levels by 2030, and also a net zero emissions target by 2035. Fossil fuels are the primary cause of global warming, and as a result, the Bayside region will expect to experience sea level rise and more intense and frequent heat waves, storms, bushfires, floods and droughts. And as a result, we're looking to position Council and assist the community to transition away from fossil fuels, switching to environmentally preferable alternatives. Oops, sorry. Sorry, everybody. I'm still getting the hang of this. So earlier this year, Council launched a Solar Savers program where Council supports residents and businesses to install solar on their roofs. And now we've launched the Love Bayside Electrify Everything program. Lloyd will present on why we need to be electrifying, as I mentioned before, both our businesses and our homes. But I wanted to touch on our program before we started talking about that. So along with councils across Australia, we recognise the need to transition to electrified houses and businesses powered by solar and green power to provide a cleaner and healthier environment for us all, not to mention the financial benefits. We're encouraging residents to prepare their Go Electric house plan, which you can see up on the screen now. And this helps you to choose, prioritise and upgrade your appliances and vehicles when they're due for replacement. We recognise that this might take 5 months or it could take, 5 years, but the most important step is to make a start. In addition, we have low-cost ways to make your home more energy efficient on our website too, and that includes things like draft proofing or using your existing electrical appliances in a more efficient way. So if you have a look at the Go Electric house plan on your screen, the column to your left says current appliance, and that lists the the types of gas appliances you might have within your house. The next column identifies the age and when can you replace it. So we encourage you to pop down the age of those appliances and when you can expect to replace it. Like we said, it might be that in a few months' time you're expecting to replace your gas hot water, but it might be 7 or 8 years' time before you replace your cooktop because you've just got a new one. The next column, the Go Electric with, provides you with some examples of what you could be replacing your old gas or inefficient appliances with. The next column, there's a rating, so good, better or best. And then the next 4 columns gives an indication of upfront cost pricing options. So this Go Electric House Plan is downloadable from our website, or there's hard copies at the libraries as well. And it's just a good little tool that you can start using to plan your journey. So to incentivise electrifying action, we've partnered with the Yarra Energy Foundation, or YEF, to run an installation program. So YEF went through a rigorous selection process and chose Specialised Solar and Electrical as the preferred installer for our install program. Specialised Solar and Electrical are offering excellent deals on heat water hot pumps, including the reclaim system, reverse cycle air conditioners and induction cooktops, as well as the installation. So to access the program, you need to register for a quote on Council's website, and that's the QR code there, but we'll bring that up a bit later on too if you don't have your phone with you at the moment. The second step is that YEF checks your eligibility and then passes your details over to Specialised Solar, who will then contact you to schedule a discovery meeting and provide you with a personalised quote. You can then proceed with the quote and install if you're happy with it. And then your electrification journey has begun. And we're always looking for case studies as well. So please contact me if you'd like to feature as one. And to incentivise further, we're running a competition, and that's when you register to receive a quote to upgrade your appliances, you can enter the draw to win a home energy audit and induction-friendly cookware. So that's all from me. As mentioned previously, please place your questions in the Q&A tab at the top of your screen, and we'll get to them in a little bit. But I'm going to hand it over to Lloyd from the Yarra Energy Foundation now.
Okay, hello. Can you hear me? Yeah, okay. I'll just start this. Oh no, that's the wrong one. 1 second. Bear with. Sorry, I'm also getting used to it. Got too many monitors going on.
While Lloyd is getting his screen ready, in the Q&A, I've put the link for the Go Electric House Plan, so you can head straight to that and download it for your household right away.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Shelley, and thanks everyone for joining. I know it's not easy to give up a Tuesday evening, but yeah, thanks for coming to listen. As Shelley mentioned, I'm going to be talking about the program we've got that's active in Bayside at the moment, but mainly why we need to electrify and what the importance of this whole thing is. So just quickly, who are we? Because most of you probably haven't heard of us before. We're a small not-for-profit organisation based in Fitzroy, in the city of Yarra, and we work with local government, local councils, communities, and we're really trying to help reduce energy expenses and reduce emissions at the same time. And just here on the right, that's one of our community batteries that we own and operate. That's also in Fitzroy North, and yeah, we're pretty proud of that one. You may have seen it in the news. It was installed last year. Oh, that's for the in-person sessions, so I'll skip past that. So I'll just jump straight into why we need to transition to an all-electric home. So, it's pretty shocking to think when we look at our domestic emissions here in Australia, 42% of our emissions domestically are made from powering our homes and our vehicles. So that's coming from, the power plants that are powering the grid, as well as our cars, our space heating and cooling, and our water heating as well in our homes. And so that's costing the average Australian, between 5 and 6 grand every single year. And that's including vehicle fuels as well, of course. But that's a lot of money, right? So when we look at our greenhouse gas emissions, you can see nearly 80% is coming from energy. And that's just, machines that are burning fossil fuels. Like I said, the power plants to your cars, to your gas water heaters on the side of your home. So that's a significant chunk of our emissions as a country there. And I'm sure most of you have seen this graph before. This is just the share of total energy use within the average Australian home. And you might instantly recognize that 70% of your energy use is coming from your space conditioning and your water heating, which, that's a huge chunk. And that can be reduced, by about a quarter. You can use about a quarter of that energy by electrifying your home, which I'm going to be touching on today. So just quickly, let's talk about gas, because obviously we are, in Victoria's getting off gas roadmap right now. It makes headlines quite regularly, but why do we actually have to leave that behind? So Victoria is actually using more gas than any other state or territory in the country. And households and small commercial users are using the most of this. And this is spiking, in winter quite heavily because of, ducted gas heating is so common in our state. And obviously we want, longer, hotter showers as well. So, why do we leave it behind? Before my time, gas was labeled as this clean alternative to coal, and that it was a good alternative to power your home, cleanly and affordably. Well, truth is it's not clean, and truth is it's not affordable anymore. Gas prices are very, very high, and they will continue to rise. A lot of people like to blame COVID or blaming a war in Ukraine, but I've got a graph in a couple slides time that will show that these prices are not steady, and they never have been, and they never will be. They will continue to go up and up and up. You're also charged $320 every year just to be connected to the gas supply. So even if you're not using the stuff, you're still charged, a minimum of $320 a year, just to be connected to the system. The main one, gas is a fossil fuel. Its emissions are directly contributing to the climate crisis. There's no question about it. And like I said, there's a lot of new studies coming out that are actually showing the fugitive emissions of gas are much, much higher than previously estimated. And when I say fugitive emissions, that's emissions from, mining it, processing it, transporting it. It really doesn't make it that much better than coal at the end of the day. And also, these technologies to replace these gas appliances, they're already here. It's not like you have to wait. You can make these changes now. They're more efficient to run. They're safer. They're cheaper. They're cleaner. They're better in pretty much every single way. And you can also produce your own electricity for free from your roof, like Shelley touched on. They are part of Solar Savers that you can get access to high quality solar installs through. But that's a different project, so we'll continue on the electrification stuff for now. So just a few household decisions. You can really reduce your carbon footprint and save you heaps of money in the long run, and that's just through electrification. So on the right here, this is an image from Rewiring Australia. I'm going to be using quite a few images from Rewiring Australia throughout this presentation, and I highly recommend you check out the organisation. If you're not familiar with them, they have heaps and heaps of information and resources online, and a really great company. But yeah, we've been force-fed a lot of environmental advice to reduce, reuse, recycle. But we're still smashing, hottest year records. We're still smashing records of CO2 in the atmosphere. So in reality, it's not done much. And I'm not saying stop recycling. Of course, please carry on recycling. But the reality is your climate impact is determined by a couple of infrequent decisions that you make around the dinner table with your significant other or whoever it may be. That's what's on your roof if you have solar panels installed. It's what's in your garage if you've got an electric vehicle or you've got a gasoline car. It's what's on the side of your house if you've got electric heating and cooling and hot water. And it's what's in your kitchen if you've got an induction stove or a gas stove. So here's the side-by-side comparison of a fossil fuel home on the left there and an all-electric home on the right. And when we say the all-electric home, this is what we're talking about here. Rooftop solar up there. You've got your EV in the garage. You've got a reverse cycle aircon. you've got a hot water heat pump, and you've got your induction cooking. And as Shelley touched on, very well aware this can take 5 months for some people, or it can take 5 years, or even 15 years for some people. But this is what we have to be aiming for at the end of the day. And you can see, the comparison between running costs and emissions there. It's truly a no-brainer. So if we ignore vehicles, obviously it's a hard one, and it's not part of this program because it is quite an expensive one to replace. If we just look at the existing homes, let's say it already has solar panels installed, and you go from all gas to all electric, you can save $1,250 every single year on your energy bills. That's on top of the $950 you're saving from having that solar system installed. So an all-electric home with solar panels installed, you're saving on average $2,200 every year. And I will add that's the mythical average household of 2.6 per people per household. So it could be more, it could be less, depending on how many people you are living with. And there's the source for this study down at the bottom there, if you're interested to follow up. Here's that graph that I mentioned at the start, showing, fossil fuel prices, showing how they aren't steady. They've been increasing, and they have been, for the past, 30 years. And what I want to try and get across in this graph is the savings from electrifying. They compound themselves. Every year you're going to be saving more and more as the gas prices, continue to go up and up and up. So, the earlier that you electrify, the more money you're going to save in the long run. All right, so going to be talking about the appliances now that we have on offer through this program, and the main ones that need to be swapped out to achieve the all-electric home. Again, this is from Rewiring Australia on the right here. You've got your hot water heat pump on the side. You've got your heat pump unit, your reverse cycle unit there in the living room. You've got solar on the roof. You've got your induction stove. You got maybe your EV, maybe you got a home backup battery or a community battery, and you're obviously still connected to the grid at the end of the day. So as I mentioned, most of our appliances are already electric. So other than getting more efficient versions when they pack in, there's not much you can do. The main ones you need to focus to replace are your heating and your cooling, your water heaters. As I showed at the start, that's 70% of your energy use right there. Your cooktops, and of course your vehicles as well. But again, that is a difficult one. So let's start with the heating and the cooling. Like I showed, 40% of your energy bill can be your heating and cooling. And reverse cycle split systems are by far the best option right now on the market. They are super cost effective. They're very efficient. They're very environmentally friendly, and they can heat and cool. You don't need separate units to do 2 different jobs. They can do everything, and you can also do individual rooms. So you can zone off your house. You can only heat your living room where you're watching TV. You don't need to spend a load of money heating your whole house when you're not going to be occupying your whole house. So what is a reverse cycle aircon? I'm sure you've all seen these outdoor compressors, and I'm sure you've all seen these indoor units. And what it is heat pump technology, and they absorb the ambient temperature of the air, and they use that to either heat or cool your home through refrigerants, which have either very low boiling points, so they can really concentrate that heat and pump it into the home. And because of this, they are unbelievably efficient. Some models can be up to 600% efficient, where a gas system, like absolute maximum a gas system can get to is like 90%, but most gas heating systems are probably about 75% efficient. And so this means it can really drop your costs, because you're not wasting all that energy. You've got a much more efficient system that's heating your whole home. So when we look at the costs, side-by-side comparisons, here are a load of different types of heating and cooling. Obviously, you've got your fans and your electric blankets. It's not true heating or cooling. But when you look at the split system compared to, the ducted gas heating at the bottom there, it's truly a no-brainer. And these prices were done, before the recent gas price hike. So it's probably even higher than that at the moment. So installing tips, because a lot of people, they love their ducted gas systems, and they're quite reluctant to give them up because they are so convenient, and they don't think it's going to work for them having a reverse cycle in their home. it definitely will. There are so many options out there that, you know, there is an option for everybody. You can do single split systems where, you know, each indoor unit has its own outdoor unit. And this is the most efficient way to do it, because you can go, you know, completely back to back with the outdoor and the indoor unit, and it means the air is not traveling very far. You're not losing much heat or cool air as you go from the outdoor unit to the indoor unit. But obviously, not everyone likes the look of a load of compressor units on their home. Not everyone has the space for a load of compressor units. So you can do multi-split systems where you can have one outdoor unit connected to multiple indoor units. But you are going to lose a bit of efficiency because that air is going to have to travel through, you know, piping across the home, you know, quite far away from that only compressor. And those ducted split systems as well are definitely possible. So if that's the aesthetic you want in your home, it's definitely something that can be done. But I do always try and, you know, let people know it is quite expensive to install. It's quite a difficult job, and they are less efficient because you're using ducts, and so whenever there's air passing through your home in big tubes, you're going to lose some efficiency because it's going to be seeping out into the surrounding air, whether it's the heat or the cooling air that you're trying to do. So like I mentioned, you want to consider where you want the indoor and the outdoor unit. If you've got the space, definitely try and go back to back. Like I said, it's going to be the cheapest to install, and it's going to be the most efficient and therefore the cheapest to run as well. You want to look for the high energy ratings. You know, the more stars, the more money you're going to save in the long run. A common thing I'm going to be talking about today is thinking about lifetime value, because a lot of people look at price tags and try and go for a cheap option. But it's actually going to cost you more in the long run because they're less efficient, so they cost more to run. So if you opt for a more efficient system at the start, you're going to reap the rewards, you know, 5-10 years down the track as well. So this option, if you come through the program that we're talking about today, all the products have already been sussed and sorted for you. You know, we've got, you know, only the highest ones, quality ones on offer through the program. And a huge one for the reverse cycle is sizing appropriately. Again, if you come through the program, we have excellent installers that have been in this game for a long, long time, and they know how to size exactly to your needs. But basically, you want to aim for around 1 kilowatt per 10 square meters. So if you have a, you know, 3 or 2 square meter room, you get a 2 kilowatt system. Pretty simple. If you've got high ceilings, maybe it comes a bit more difficult, and you have to, you know, think about what kind of size system is gonna work in there. But like I said, if you get a high quality installer, they'll be able to hold your hand through the process and make sure it's the most efficient one for your space. And when you actually have the thing installed, you know, a lot of people like to, you know, if it's 35 degrees outside, they set the reverse cycle to 18 degrees. That's going to be terrible for, you know, the efficiency of the system and the lifetime of the system, because it's just going to be, you know, running full throttle at the whole time. So you kind of want to set it to something that's comfortable. If it's 35 outside, set it to 25, 27. It's not going to be working, you know, overtime and really stressing out all the components of the compressor. And just the reverse in winter. If it's 4 degrees outside, don't set the thing to 29 degrees inside, because you're going to have the same problem. So expected prices, you know, units can range anywhere from $650 to $5,000, and that's dependent on the size and the brand of the unit. You know, you can really choose some pretty shoddy ones for the cheap end, but like I said, they're probably going to break, and they're not going to be very efficient to run. You also got to factor in the installation. So installation is quite expensive because of the materials that are used and the labor costs, of course. And a lot of people, you know, they get quoted a system, and then they go and Google, you know, what they've been offered, and they see in Harvey Norman it's on, you know, you can buy the thing for, you know, $1,700 or whatever. But that's obviously, if you order that, it's going to come in a box to your front door like an Amazon delivery. It's not going to be installed. So it's something to think about. You've got to factor in for the installation as well. And with all these electric appliances, if you're living in an old home, there may be, extra costs that come, like switchboard upgrades or, further cabling requirements. It depends on what's required from your home, and these can all influence the price of what's going to be on the quote as well. So just for a ballpark, for a 3.5 kilowatt system, you're looking at anywhere between $2,000 and $3,000. That's the supply and the install. And you may also be eligible for rebates to bring this total down as well. So a huge one to think about is a lot of suppliers do underquote as well, and then they'll reveal additional fees when they get there with the unit, on the day of installation, and then it's a bit too late to say no because they're at your home and they have the unit and you're ready to go. So do be careful. If it's too good to be true, it usually is. So moving on to hot water, like I showed at the start, it could be 30% of your bill can be on hot water. And you're going to see here that the best option for hot water now is hot water heat pumps. They're unbelievably efficient, and they can really reduce your bills and your emissions as well. So very similar. It's using heat pump technology again. So using the outside temperature of the air and heating your water with that. Again, can be up to 600% efficient. Actually, a new unit can be 700% efficient. I think the new Rinnai unit that just came out recently. And these can also really reduce your costs as well compared to what you've currently got installed. So just quickly from the outside, and a lot of people say, oh, it gets too cold for the these units, the high quality units, can work up to -10 degrees, and I don't think I've ever seen it get to -10 in Melbourne. So I think you're pretty good. And then it will concentrate that heat in the compressor, use that to heat the water, and then it will store all that hot for you. These tanks, especially the high quality, like the Reclaim we've got pictured here, that's also on offer through this program. They can hold this water for over hours, and keep it hot for a long time, and essentially turn this into a thermal battery on the side of your home. And so installing a hot water heat pump, it can save you $400. Up to $400 every year, and that's just through changing one appliance. Because electrical storage and electrical instant, while they're cheap to install, they're just kettles on steroids basically, and they're gonna cost an arm and a leg to run because they're just using an element to heat up the water, and that's a very inefficient way to do it. Obviously, gas storage, gas instant, it's burning fossil fuels. Gas is so expensive right now. I just got my gas bill through and it's pretty shocking. So when you look at the heat pump, it's pretty much a no-brainer. Obviously you've got solar that's going to be quite similar costs, but it's much more expensive to install, high maintenance, and if it's gas boosted, it's still using a fossil fuel anyway. And like I mentioned, they can actually become thermal batteries just by storing that hot water in the tank. And if you have a solar system installed, you can set it up on a timer to heat up all that hot water at 10 a.m., whatever it is, when the sun's shining. It will turn on for about an hour and a half, maybe two and a half hours if it's in the depths of winter. Heat all your hot water up, and then you're good. It will turn off, and you've used 2 hours of electricity just to heat your hot water for 24 hours, which is a pretty efficient way to do it. So again, tips are very similar to the reverse cycle. Selecting a good brand, it's going to save you money in the long run. You're going to have better warranties if something does go wrong. So the brands you want to be thinking of is something like the Reclaim, Sandon, Hydrotherm, Apricus. There's a lot of ads out there, install a free heat pump or install a heat pump for $33. You need to avoid those. They were made just, as cheaply as possible with no thought going into them about the safety or the efficiency. And they're going to break down, and the warranty claim's only like 9 months long, and you're not going to be able to claim on a warranty. They're just made to make a quick buck. So please do avoid those cheap free hot water heat pumps. You've got to consider the location again of the compressor and the tank. If you've got a current gas system. Usually it's just take out the gas system, put in the heat pump right where it was. That's super simple, and what most, 95% of installations are going to be. So obviously you can distance the compressor from the tank, but the same issue. The shorter the pipe run, the better the efficiency. If you put the tank one side of your home and the compressor the other side of the home, one, it's going to be expensive for all that extra piping, but also you're going to lose a lot of heat as it goes from the compressor to the tank. So yeah, definitely don't recommend that. Again, sizing the tank appropriately. So I tend to recommend 70 litres per person. And that's ample. You will not run out 70 litres per person or per room if you're expecting to increase your family size. Also important to think about if you have appliances that run off the hot water system as well, and as opposed to electrical heated ones, you might need to size it appropriately for that as well. And like I said, these things will actually, next year it'll be mandatory to install with a timer. So when you get a timer installed, you can operate it during off-peak tariffs to really reduce your costs. Or if you've got solar power, you can essentially have free hot water by putting it on a solar timer. So prices again can be anywhere between 1,500 to 7,000, and that's the supply and the install. And that's depending again on the brand and what rebates you're eligible for as well, and the size of the tank you opt for. So like I said, cheaper brands like Eco Alliance, please try and avoid these ones. They are no good. You want to try and aim for the premium brands like Reclaim, Sandon, Apricus, these kinds of brands that are also Australian owned and operated as well. So they're going to be there if you need warranty claims. Again, it's a running theme. The more you're spending up front, the more you're going to save in the long run. It's just because it's more efficient and it's more efficient to run. Better brands have better efficiency. Okay, moving on to the cooktop. I got to kind of speed up. We're running out of time. So this is the hardest one, obviously, to convince people of. But look, they essentially use electromagnetic fields. They're not using, gas where all that heat is lost up to the ambient air around the side of the pan. It's heating the pan itself. So you could take the pan off, touch the surface, and you're not going to feel any heat because your hand's not magnetic, right? They're not wasting any energy. So that makes them super efficient, super safe, and very, very fast as well. So they could be up to 85% efficient, where a gas hob is going to be 20 to 30% efficient. So it's better for your wallet, it's better for your environment, and it's better for your health as well, because you're not breathing in a load of fossil fuel that you're burning right in front of you as you're making your stir fry, right? There was actually a study that showed that cooking with a gas hob is actually on par with living with a smoker. So it's pretty shocking when you think about the detrimental effects there. Obviously touched on most of these already, so I'll run through them pretty quick. They're super energy efficient. They boil water, twice as fast as gas. Much healthier. There's no toxic fumes in your home. You can raise and lower the temperature pretty much instantly. They're much safer, especially if you have children that like to put their hands on things. They're not going to burn themselves. And you look, the best one, they're so easy to clean. A couple of sprays of the surface cleaner and a wipe, and you can put your feet up and get Netflix on. So no baked in grease anymore. Quick tips: you want to consider your kitchen size and your layout. What's going to fit, what's going to look good. How many burners do you need? Is your current system overkill, or do you need more burners? You want to consider your kitchen aesthetic. What's going to suit your cupboards or your surfaces, and what type of control functions you want. A lot of people get the ones with timers as well, so you can set the water on for 10 minutes and it will turn itself off. Again, much safer. No forgetting the hob. And a big one is testing the pots and pans. Like I said, they have to be magnetic. So you got to think about, stainless steel, cast iron, these kinds of things. So if you're not sure, grab a fridge magnet, touch it on your pan. If it sticks, it'll work. If it doesn't, you probably need to replace it. And don't forget to cap the gas line as well after removing the gas stove. You don't want, fumes leaking in. And usually it's the last one to go for a lot of people. So close that gas account and save that $325 every year as well. Again, how long's a piece of string on this one? Units can be $600 to 10 grand, same as any gas cooker. There's so many options out there depending on what you want. An installation, again, can range depending on what your current kitchen is like, depending on your electrical infrastructure. You might need a switchboard upgrade. You might need a new supply point put in where the stove is going. So all these things need to be taken into consideration as well. So look, what I wanted to try and get across is, these appliances that we spoke about, they will save you money and they will reduce your emissions. That's all because of their efficiency. Electric machines, they waste less energy. I mean, I could go into thermodynamics, but I've only got 5 minutes left, so probably not. But I got a load of graphs that's going to hopefully help you visualize this as well. So each appliance we've just spoke about, I'm going to show the average yearly energy use, followed by the lifetime running costs of that appliance. And I'm going to go through quite quickly, like I said, running out of time, but you're going to pick up what I'm dropping pretty quickly. It's quite obvious. So here's the water heaters, average yearly energy usage. You've got your gas hot water here on the left, and you can see the heat pumps using a quarter of the energy, right? Literally a quarter of the energy. And when you look at the lifetime running costs, it's really reflected, right? Again, this study was done quite a few years ago now, so this price is probably more over here. But if you look down here, the heat pump using solar, this is lifetime running costs, $400. It's true. And if you're interested, please check out all these studies are open source on the Rewiring Australia website. So I really, really recommend you check them out. Here's the same for the space heaters. You got your gas heater again, and the heat pump, quarter of the energy once again. And the running costs, it's you can see what I'm getting across here. Again, that's probably more over here, past the 5,000 range. And here's your heat pump using solar, and your heat pump using grids, even less than half the price even. So here's the stovetops. There's your gas stove energy usage. There's your induction, again, about half, more than half. And there's your running costs. So I think you can see it's truly a no-brainer. When you look at the energy usage, this is why you're saving money, and this is why you're saving emissions as well. There's the vehicles as well, just to really touch on it. I know we didn't touch much on vehicles today, but there's 4 gasoline cars compared with 5 EVs. And just for context, a Rivian Ute is the same as a Ford Ranger, and that's using half the energy of a Corolla. So it really puts into perspective. And there's your lifetime running costs of driving for 10 years. And there's your EV with solar, $820. Wow. And look, it's no lie that electrification can be expensive because the technology is quite new, and it's quite expensive because of that. The first phone was pretty expensive too. But you want to think about the lifetime value. These appliances are going to save you heaps and heaps of money in the long run. As you disconnect your gas and you're not paying for your gas, like I said, you can save $2,200 every single year from making this switch. So it will pay for itself pretty quickly. Do think about your switchboard. If you're living in an old home, it might, most likely will need to be replaced. But this is a one-off expense, and it's 100% necessary. You are going to have to do it at some point because, we are phasing out of gas. So it's 100% necessary for your future. Also, federal and state government, they both offer lucrative subsidies to upgrade these systems. And that's because the governments know they're good for the environment and they're good for the economic benefits as well. This is why they're literally handing out money to make these swaps. So just quickly, what are those rebates? So this one you don't need to worry too much about. This is a federal level rebate, small scale technology certificates. These are calculated and created to install small scale renewable systems like solar or hot water heat pumps. And they are just instantly applied as a point of sale discount. So you don't actually need to worry about this. There's no application process. It's just automatically done. There's also Victorian energy efficiency certificates. So these are state level as opposed to the federal one. And these are incentives to decommission basically gas appliances. So, new activities came out in May this year, which incentivizes, replacing gas, hot water and gas heating and cooling with heat pump technology. So exactly what we've been talking about today has now been incentivized by the state government as well. And again, these can be applied as a point of sale discount. But important to remember, you do have to decommission the old system to claim these rebates. So for hot water, that's obviously easy because you have to get rid of the gas one to put the new one in. But for the heating and cooling, it means you do have to remove that ducted gas heating or that gas room heater, whatever you may have. There's also Solar Victoria hot water rebate, which is up to $1,000 on any eligible hot water system, a heat pump system. So that's when you're going for the better quality ones, like that's instantly $1,000 off that system, which is a fantastic initiative. Bayside, you're in luck. We've got this active program that's going on right now, and look, it's here to make these upgrades simple and cost effective for households within the city of Bayside. And no points for guessing what we're offering. It's obviously going to be the hot water heat pumps, the reverse cycle air cons, and the induction cooktops, everything we spoke about today. So what's our role in this project? We're just there to support it, to manage it. Obviously, we selected Specialized Solar after a very, very rigorous selection process. So, we're there to be the intermediary between council, between yourselves, and between the trusted installer as well. So if you need assistance, you want to walk through a quote, you could give us a call, and it will likely be me chatting on the phone, and we can have a chat about what's needed, what you should do first, is this a good price, is it not, etc., etc. So just quickly, the benefits. Obviously, you're getting premium products that have been, selected by ourselves. You've got access to those rebates we've touched on. It's installed by a very trusted, vetted supplier. You're not going to get, dodgy cowboys coming in doing dodgy works that's going to fault in, 3 years' time. And obviously, number 4 and 5, you're getting reduced energy bills and you're reducing your emissions. So, 2 massive wins as well. How to register? Quickly scan that QR code if you want to register right now. You can either call the F line during work hours and I'll pick up, or you can visit the Bayside website or the F website and register that way as well. So plenty of ways to register your interest and get a free, no obligation quote. Again, that's what we're aiming for. And just to get the 3 main points I wanted to really, drum in is for hot water and space conditioning, heat pumps, they need 1/4 of the energy to do the same job with fossil fuels. Induction heating needs half the amount of energy to do the same job with fossil fuels. And vehicles use 1/3 as much energy to do the same job. So you don't need to change your lifestyle. You don't need to give up a load of things. You can live the exact same lifestyle, use way less energy, and use way less emissions. Lower energy usage, lower bills, lower emissions. That's a huge win for everyone. Here's a load of further reading. Sorry for going really quick at the end. I'm running out of time. Really recommend this book. Screenshot this if you want to have a look at all these because they're great resources. And that's me. So thank you very much. I'll pass over to Samira from Specialized Solar and Electrical.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Lloyd. That was amazing. I'm just going to quickly share my screen. And then I'll launch straight into it. So thank you so much. And also thank you so much, everybody, for being here this evening. My name is Samira Hughes. I am the Chief Operating Officer of Specialized Solar and Electrical. I'm going to go through a little bit about ourselves and highlight the products that we do have on offer with this incredible program. And then I am going to hand it to Anthony Igman, who is the Managing Director of Specialized Solar and Electrical. So I'll just launch straight into it. Here we go. So who are we? So originally established in 1984 as part of the Specialized Heating and Cooling Group, Specialized Solar and Electrical, we are a family-owned business based in Melbourne and have over 6 offices across New South Wales and Victoria. So since the turn of the century, we've been helping thousands of households and businesses reduce their energy bills and also reduce their carbon footprint and help them transition into an all-electric future. We understand that it can take a little bit of steps to get there, so we are your partners for life and your electrification experts. So we do everything from solar to EV or energy electric vehicle chargers, to also highlighting the three main products that are available on offer for this program, which is the heat water heat pumps, the hot water heat pumps, the heating and cooling, and the induction cooktops. So we are going to just highlight those three products or that are available, the categories, and show you the prices as well that are available in each category. So let's just dive into the hot water heat pumps. So the two different products that are available are the Reclaim system, and then we also have the all-in-one Apricus. So both incredible products here. We've made sure that it was rigorous in terms of the selection of products that we're using for this program. So all of them are very energy efficient, eco-friendly, very reliable products, and also have really good supporting on the back end, just to ensure that everything runs smoothly. So the price range for hot water heat pumps ranges anywhere from $3,000 to $6,000. Now, when we're looking at the heating and cooling, we do have three different products that are on offer with this program. So we do have the Panasonic, we have the Fujitsu, and we have the LG. So the price range that you're looking on for these are $2,500 to $4,500. And then the last ones that we have is your induction cooktops. So we have both the Westinghouse and Bosch products available, and they're both in the 60 centimeters and the 90 centimeters. So just depending on the sizing that you require, we have both available and options for you to select. And we will assist you in the terms of the process and which one might be suitable for your house for every single product that is available. The price range for this is $2,500 to $5,500. So what we want to do now is I am going to hand it over to Anthony, who's going to go through all the questions and answers. Hope you've been writing all the questions in on the little button that's available for you all through this presentation. So I'm going to just stop sharing here, and then I'm going to hand it over to Anthony.
Alrighty, Anthony. So we've had a couple questions. First question, do you help residents apply for the rebates?
100% we do. So that is a process. So once you start with us, we obviously walk you through the steps to apply for these rebates. There's a couple, as Lloyd advised. You've got your VICs and you've got Solar Victoria rebates. So yes, we'll definitely assist you along the way and get you prepped for these applications, because it can be a process if you've never done it before. So if you've got that guidance from us, we'll just make it a little bit easier.
Can you help residents cap their gas and apply for the VICs?
100%. We can do both of those. So plumbers, electricians, obviously available through the program, through us. So you can cap off your gas, rerun any electrical appliances that you require from the board to the new process or application where you're going to have the induction cooktops or split systems or hot water heat pumps. And yes, in regards to VICs, we complete that process with you as well.
What information do I need to provide for a discovery meeting?
Usually, we just request a couple of photos of your switchboard. That's probably the biggest thing, just to make sure that when you are looking at electrifying your home, your switchboard is one of the main things we look at, just to ensure that you've got enough space. If there's any upgrades, because that can be anywhere from $800 to $1,200 for an upgrade, depending on what's required. If it's indoor, outdoor, all those types of things. Electricity bill would definitely help. But other than that, we do most of it through the discovery, and that takes roughly about 30 to 45 minutes.
Do I need to be interested in all three appliances, or can I only go for one?
No, you can just go for one, whatever's, I guess, suitable for you at the time. Most people, will start with electric heat pump, because that's usually the appliance that is going now. Trying to get off gas, that's the first thing that they will look at, and then probably heating and cooling and potentially induction cooktop. So you don't need all three, you can just start with one.
Are there additional costs that might occur at my place, and when will I find out about those?
Good question. We try to figure all that out through discovery, but as we can imagine, there'll be some things that could be missed. So once we've confirmed what type of solution that you're actually after, we code it up, and when you provide those photos in regards to switchboards, we try to include as much as we can. But once we come out to do a site inspection, which is mandatory on every installation, and we'll come out, do a prior inspection, and that's when we'll confirm exactly what's required for us to fit off the new solution.
Do I need to get 3-phase power if I want to electrify everything?
Another good question. This come up a couple of times, actually. Look, honestly, you don't have to. As electricians, we need to advise customers that if you were to electrify your whole home and everything was turned on at the same time, of course, it's going to reach your 63 amp limit that is coming into a single phase property. But honestly, when are you going to have all these items on at the same time, right? So I guess we guide you through and just understand and be a little bit more conscious about how you use electricity. So instead of running, your EVs, charging and your induction cooktop and your heating, cooling and all that at once, just stagger it. This will ensure that, you don't exceed your 63 amp limits. But there are advantages to go 3-phase because if you are looking at EVs, 3-phase power will allow you to, charge your car faster, which we're all a little bit anxious to get that done quickly. But no, the short answer is no, you don't require a 3-phase upgrade to electrify your home.
Should I be getting solar before I start electrifying my house?
Good question. Look, we always suggest that a solar is a good option to have prior to, but look, it's not mandatory, no. Say, for instance, your hot water, gas instantaneous unit goes and you need to replace something, well, you're going to make that a priority before looking at solar, right? But as you progress, you will find that you're using a little bit more electricity. And to, counter that, you'll be looking at solar to start with and potentially batteries as well. So short answer, no, you don't need solar, but it's definitely going to be part of your overall solution for sure.
I've filled out my registration form. Who will actually be calling me to organise a quote?
Yeah. So first of all, you'll be speaking to Stephen. Stephen will set up an appointment with one of our consultants. Usually you get called within 24 to 48 hours, and the appointment is usually booked within 2 to 3 days. So it's a pretty quick process.
Awesome. That's all of the questions that we have at the moment. Do you have any other frequently asked questions? Oh, Shelley has a question. Jump on in.
Yeah, I do have a question, and it's about supply. There's been a little bit around at the moment that heat pumps are quite hard to come by. And, as a result of COVID, is this true? And if a resident, installs a heat pump, wants to install a heat pump through our program, will there be much of a wait?
Yeah, look, right now we're seeing that there's consistent flow of product, especially for Reclaim and Apricus. Apricus we can get installed pretty much straight away. Reclaim, there's probably about a 2-week to 3-week wait, but they are obviously increasing the number of product that's coming into Australia.
Thanks.
No problem.
Alrighty, everyone. I've put some links in our Q&A if you wanted to find any further information on our presenters, or if you wanted to have a look at the Bayside website to have a look at your Go Electric action plan or to register for Electrify Everything. So feel free to have a look through those and see if you wanted to find out more. Otherwise, we'll hand over back to Shelley now to wrap up our webinar and let you get back to your Tuesday night.
Thanks, Katie. I'm just going to share my screen again. Hopefully it goes on the right slide. Oh, wrong presentation. Sorry. Let me try that again.
Let's go again, another hour.
Get rid of your presentation. Sorry, everybody. I had my slide up. I was all organized. And talk amongst yourselves. Excuse me. Go. This was just really the last slide. Oh no. Okay, would one of the other presenters mind sharing their screen and just popping the last slide on for me, please?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Thanks, Lloyd. Anyway, I just wanted to say a quick thanks to Samira, Anthony and Lloyd and Katie too for giving up their evenings to come and talk to us. We hope you found today's session informative and has answered some of your questions. As Katie mentioned, she's popped a bunch of links in the side there. But we do value your feedback and would appreciate if you could please complete a few questions. There's not many. So if you wouldn't mind clicking onto that QR code there, the big one, where it says, how was today's session, and finish completing those questions, that would be much appreciated.
If the QR code, sorry, Shelley, if the QR code doesn't work for you, we have popped the link to the survey in the chat as well.
Okay, thanks, Katie. And for more information on the Electrify Everything program, there's our website and our QR code as well. Thanks everybody for attending, and we look forward to taking you or helping you on your electrification journey. Thanks.